Hello everybody, a very warm welcome to Ask the Accountant, Making Tax Digital Watch Series. We're back by popular demand. They have been banging on the doors to get us back in front of these mics, and now we're in person. So first of all, before we go any further, I've got a little agenda. Tell the world who you are and why you're here.
So I'm Suzannah Whelan of Sinclair Whelan Bookkeeping, and yeah, I'm just here today to see everyone, find out what's new, hear about MTD. There's going to be a lot of talk about MTD, and see all the softwares, see what the new developments are, etc., etc.
Nice, nice. Amy.
So hi everyone, I'm Amy Hancock of Hancock and Hastings Accountants and Auditors. I'm here at FAB today. I'm actually here more for my own practice to kind of see what's out there to help us in the day-to-day. I think I've kind of got my MTD nailed, which I'll go into. A few options which we've already spoken about. So yeah, other aspects of FAB today.
And I'm Aaron Patrick. I am the QuickBooks chap and part of the Ask the Accountant Network. Well, we're all part of the Ask the Accountant Network. If you want more content relating to accountants, bookkeeping, and everything else in between, we're in the right place. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Right, let's get straight into it. My topic for today was we've got 20 days to go till MTD launches. Now, full disclosure, I was one of the first 5, I think it was, making tax digital submissions back in the day.
Here he goes.
I had a brilliant plan set up. I was ready and waiting. And what I wanted to talk about was how prepared I was. I even created this nice little thing. We'll try and put a little thing on screen. Producer Lizzie, boom. There we are. There it is. Power of editing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I created this little guide, and I created a flow chart for our team because I think us coming to these events, we're ready.
Yeah.
We are prepared. It's how do you get your team on the same page, right?
Yeah.
So I went through and I did a little, I called it my client evaluation framework for MTD for AAG. Very posh, very
posh.
thing. But actually,
I like it.
be around the bush. It told them the important stuff we already know, the 50,000, the 30,000, 20,000. But I think the most important thing was a flow chart to let them know as a team, right, if a client's talking about X, Y, Z, what MT product are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
If they're going to talk about this, what MT product, right? Because again, I feel like everyone in this sphere, everyone in this room, hopefully have got a little bit of an idea. We're kind of close there.
Yeah.
But getting that ingrained into your team is going to be really important. I'll just go through mine. No, in fact, I'll do mine last because there's a spoiler alert. Something major happened on mine, even though I've trained, delivered, passed it to the team and got everything ready. I know, Suzannah, you don't have a team, but if you had, how would you describe your MTD, your process now? What is it? Like, if a new client's coming at your door, your existing clients, what options are you going with them? Talk me through it.
Yeah, so very much depends on the client, because when we talk about segmenting our clients, I think a lot of people think that that's just segmenting them in terms of their turnover.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to think about. There's lots of other nuances. So you've got to think, well, are they a sole trader? Are they a landlord?
Yeah.
Are they a sole trader with property income? Do they have more than one sole trade business? I also segmented my clients on how ready they were.
Nice.
So were they already using software?
Yeah.
Did they have a separate business bank account? Because that is really, really key, I think. Were they a shoebox client? Were they already doing quarterly bookkeeping? So, for example, for your VAT registered sole traders, actually, you're 99% of the way there
100%.
with MTD.
Yeah.
So there's all these different things to think about. So, yeah, when you take on a new client, that's the sort of now the process.
And what I love about your approach is that, and it is because in the nice possible way, it's just you, but in a positive way, right? But because it's just you, you can go right into the weeds. You're like, does it do this? Does it do that? Like, you've really got an opportunity to really map it all out. And then you can take it over to that thing. I think for a lot, and I'm hoping, especially people in this room, especially people listening, I think we're all ready for that. We've gone through enough scenarios in our head and everything else. And I think, like you were just alluded to then, I think we'll dig into it. I think the big bit is, well, what about a new client? When you don't know this stuff, like what questions are we going to ask to figure that out and go through? So, Amy, talk me through your process of it and how are you getting the team on the same page?
Yeah, so with mine, I actually have 20 clients that are mandated in April. Thankfully, I use Tax Calc, and all the tax returns have gone through there. So it was easy for me to get, these are the people that are going to be mandated. I then did a segmentation in software, whether they were using software, whether they weren't. And then I contacted them and said, right, what would you like? Would you like to do your own bookkeeping? Would you like to do, and I've got now a list of these are the people that software they're using, whether we're doing the bookkeeping, whether they're doing the bookkeeping, whether they're doing the submissions or whether we're doing the submissions. And I have a mix. So I have some that were already on QuickBooks, some that have gone the free agent route and gone with the Metal and NatWest bank account, and then some that have gone, I don't really want to do anything. I still want to give you my shoebox. And I've gone, cool. And I've gone with the Tax Calc bridging solution. So I've got those 3 options. We kind of made a decision internally. We're predominantly a QuickBooks bookkeeping practice. So we've kind of gone with the decision of if you are using QuickBooks or you want to use QuickBooks, you want us to do the bookkeeping, great.
Yeah.
Where they've gone on to a free agent, I've been a little bit hesitant because I don't want to be in a position where we've had to learn all the software. Get all the bookkeepers to learn everything, right? So clients are doing it themselves. And they've been doing it themselves for a while, the ones that have got the free agent, and they're fine.
Yeah.
They're happy with that. So then we've got the bridging software with Tax Calc, which is a lot like the VAT bridging software. VAT bridging spreadsheet.
Yes.
So you're listing all your invoices, listing your expenditure, and I've gone, cool, we will just fill that in. So the team are doing the bookkeeping or the QuickBooks or what we're used to on the spreadsheet. So I've kind of given clients the choice.
Have you got any clients who are doing the quarterly filing themselves, or are you going to be filing from their bookkeeping?
There will be.
So you've got that mixture as well.
Yeah, so I've had a few clients that have gone, I kind of want to do it myself on free agent because I am using free agent.
Yeah.
And I've started them early before we started this podcast. I started them on free agent so they could get used to doing their own bookkeeping and whatnot.
I think that's important.
I've got a couple of clients where I've gone, well, do you know what? We'll do it together the first time. And they were like, yeah, first and second time, and then I'll do it on my own. And that's completely fine.
Yeah.
I think when it hits next year, where the majority of my clients will sit, and I think a lot of our clients will probably sit in the 30 to 50,000
definitely.
bracket, I've got that in place to go, do you know what? The majority of people have gone with these 3 options. You can have whatever option you want. And it's helped me with capacity because I can't get all the bookkeepers to learn all the software. So there's too many softwares out there. And I don't want to be employing a bookkeeper just for MTD.
Yeah, exactly.
Because how do you fill up their other time? So at the moment, I've got a good mix, and that's what I've put to the team. We've kind of spoken about it. Talking about the new client thing, that actually came up on email 2 days ago from our tax lady that was like, how am I going to know? So we've actually just changed our onboarding form in Engager to say, what did you do your own tax return or did you have another accountant? So where are we getting that tax return from to see whether where you're going to sit?
Right.
So we've added questions into the onboarding questionnaire on Engager.
So for both of you, how are you going to evaluate what software's right for those going forward? Because I think we all know our own client base and we all probably had like a feeling of which ones were going to work, which ones weren't going to work. But how are you going to evaluate just someone completely new? Like you're going in blind, you're having that conversation with them. They're probably going to be a bit hesitant or frustrated or scared, right? Like this is a whole new world for them. They probably never need an accountant/bookkeeper before, right? What questions are you going to ask to know? Because you want them to come out of that feeling supported, and what you don't want to be a bit wishy-washy with them, right? Like, oh, I think you should go on this, or I think you should go. You want to have that plan with them, right? What sort of questions are you asking them to kind of get that gist of what software's right for them?
It's no different from what we would ask them anyway if MTD wasn't a thing. I don't think if we need to put a client on software, for example, are they going to scale? We can talk about, do they have the 2 income streams? How price sensitive they are?
Yeah.
There's all of those things. And, are they going to want to be doing invoicing and stuff on the go, like on their mobile phones? Or, that kind of thing. Do they have any requirements that they might need to integrate with different other apps and stuff? So, which softwares work best with those apps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the same sort of thing.
I had a discovery call yesterday someone that has started a dog walking business. She's never been a sole trader before. She's going to fall in at some point in time.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to be April 2028. So I said to her, cool. Explained what MTD was.
Yeah.
You're going to be quarterly reporting. You can start as you mean to go on and get the software in place. I go with the Metal NatWest free agent
It's a no-brainer, isn't it, for those kind
I'm
of
not
clients?
necessarily coming forward and offering to do the bookkeeping. It's not needed. I think with the software in place, they can do a lot of it themselves. But I'm also saying that's one option. If you want to go Metal, NatWest, Royal Bank of Scotland, I think is one, and then free agent, and then you can start as you mean to go on. But if you want to do spreadsheet, that's fine. You've just got to make sure you've got all your ins, all your outs, keep your receipts, keep your bank statements. Because there is a solution for that with the bridging software. So I'm kind of giving them the choice, but we know when we talk, we've had, all of us probably had so many discovery call conversations, we can tell if someone's going to be okay with using software or not and actually going to use it. So I'm giving them the choice now. I think if they come on board and they are an existing client of another accountant and they're moving to me, they're probably going to have software in place.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, true.
But you're always going to have ones that are still shoebox.
Yeah.
And I will still have shoebox one, and I'm not going to force them to go onto software.
See, I am. I'm not going to
Are
work.
you?
Yeah, I'm busy enough. I have not got time now for spreadsheets.
Yeah.
It's good that it's there as an option, but for my practice, I want them on software. And if they don't want to go on software, then they're not the client. We're not the right fit.
Yeah.
So, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But I need to simplify things, especially with it being just me in my practice. I already work across all the 4 softwares.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have that flexibility. I'm not trying to shoehorn people into one software if they don't have a strong opinion of what software they want to use.
Yeah.
I have the ones that I will direct them to, that I would rather work with. But I'm happy to work across those 4. But I'm drawing the line now at spreadsheets.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's good. It's
What
good.
about you,
And
Aaron?
I think MTD's kind of helped you get to that decision, right?
Yeah.
Just one quick one back to you, Amy.
Okay.
So are you the sole person doing the discovery calls, or do you have anyone else in the team doing it?
Currently me. Partly why I'm here. Well, I'm trying to figure out this year how the business is going to look by the end of the year. I am the auditor, I'm the accountant, I'm the owner.
Team maker.
I
Marketer,
definitely can't do
chief
tea.
marketer.
If you come and see me, if anyone comes to see me, I won't offer a hot drink because I'm just no good at it. I know what I'm good at. So
You can't be good at everything.
no, Jamie's with me today and she makes the tea and coffee because I can't do it. But no, I am the decision maker, doing the fees, doing the proposals, doing the calls. I have got a great admin that is currently, we've had a few discovery emails today whilst I'm here, and she's got in contact with them and she's getting information.
Brilliant.
And she wants to learn about MTD.
Yeah.
So we actually sat yesterday and I went through the process and, kind of went through that whole, this is where we suggest people would sit or give them the choices. But I'm quite a small practice. There's 8 of us. So there is going to be an element of me doing a lot, but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. fair play.
Trying.
Okay, so the reason I asked that question is because in our practice, the biggest issue we have now, again, and I think there's, it is just, something that we've had to kind of deal with is if someone else was being asked about MTD and if someone else has been brought in, like, how do they do it? And that's why I for our practice, built this flow chart, right? And I want to talk through this flow chart with you guys just to give you a bit of a thing for everyone else, give some thing to do, and also let's pick it apart. And as I've kind of alluded to, there's a big problem at the end of it. So first of all, does qualifying income exceed the current threshold? That's why you're asking it on the discovery call. Yeah, loving that. That's coming through. But I think we've just got to figure out, and we've got to tell the team, exactly how that works, where that comes through. Then my next question is, does this client have a complex tax position?
Yes.
And that's the bit you've been alluding to, right? These multiple property owners.
And joint property income within that as well.
When there's multiple people in them, when they're split, where they could have multiple. There's a whole raft of complication there, right? Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this once. Xero dominates that market, right? They've got a solution that means that can actually go through, that could work. And I generally think that that's a nice solution for that more complicated one. So on our first question, if it's a yes to that complex tax position, I don't see Xero being anyone else. Has anyone else looked at anything else that could probably fit into that gap?
I have got a client who's a sole trader with a furnished holiday let, and for her, she's got the 2 free agent licenses, so that works really nicely. I wouldn't say that that's overly complex. I've got other ones. I think the joint property income can get more complicated. So, for example, I've got landlords who've got joint property income, and then the joint landlord has also got their own income, own property income. So both have got houses that they own on their own and houses that they own jointly.
Yeah.
It's fine for one of them because one of them you can do it through Xero with the tracking categories, but for the other one, so Xero have the option now that the other one who with the joint owned property can file theirs. But what about their property that they own on their own?
Yeah, they could come in it as well if you wanted to have it simplified.
All in one license?
Yeah, this is the madness of it.
God.
You could file multiple MTDs from one license. They're the only solution gone down that route.
I know you can with the 2, but I didn't know about the ones with the additional property that they own on their own.
Yeah.
As well.
So you'll just track it to go into there and then it'll feed through. It's really clever what they've built.
Okay.
And again, that's what I won't say it very often, but I will say it again. They dominated that market. They found their niche, if you like, in the MTD world.
Because that's the question that I had to ask people today.
Oh, there you go.
That's ticked off my list then.
Yeah.
See, my client that's got multiple properties with his wife and another person with different shareholdings is using free agent.
Yeah, and that works really, really well.
And that works really well. And so thankfully, I've got the wife and the other person, they don't have any other income. So I'm able to pull the information from one free agent license for all 3 of them.
It's when they've both got a sole trade as well, that's when it starts getting really complicated.
And multiple bank accounts. That complicates it, right?
Yeah.
Because then in one license you need to exclude it, in the other license you're not. That's when it's going to get really messy, right? And we don't want that. I said it before, not enough meat on the bone for MTD to get messy.
No.
We need simplicity. We need straightforward.
It needs to be lean.
We need clean. Clean's the only way to be happy with MTD is have a clean MTD, right? So I feel like for me that's the only solution that makes sense, and I see free agent as being there as well, definitely.
Yeah.
Being a free agent, my next question is: does the client already bank with NatWest, RBS, or Metal? Why would you use anything else at that point? Yeah. Especially that for me that Metal integration where they're bookkeeping while banking.
They've made that quite an easy conversation for us to have with clients because you can say to the client, well, if they might go, I don't want to change my bank account. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to. It's going to now cost you this. You find they change their mind quite quickly about changing their bank account.
Yeah, so I don't have to pay for software and you're going to stop moaning about having the second bank account each time. Done. Yeah. You know what I mean? It really does make that. So, that makes sense. Then afterwards, I was ready, and I've been ready for 5 years now. Oh, no, that's unfair. 3 years, I think it came out. I was going QuickBooks Sole Trader. That was my end goal. If they didn't fit of any of those other ones, everything else is QuickBooks Sole Trader. Let's have something we're all going to be comfortable with. We can all use, we can all understand, we can find the warts and all.
Yeah.
QuickBooks took that away from us at QuickBooks Connect, so I can't do QuickBooks Sole Trader now, so I have a big gap. I don't know what I'm generally,
what
20 days to go, I don't know what to do. I am literally flapping around trying to find a solution.
That announcement didn't massively impact me because I didn't use it. But because I have a batch of essential licenses that I buy from QuickBooks that are quite nicely discounted. Yeah. So I have been putting any sole traders onto those QuickBooks, and Essentials is way too big for them. Yeah. Way too. But I tend to be doing the bookkeeping.
And I think that's the difference,
fine.
right?
And then if they want to do the bookkeeping themselves, the choice that I've given them has gone, oh, you don't have a business bank account. Okay, get this with free agent. If you don't get Metal NatWest and you get Starling Monzo, you're gonna have to pay for a different piece of software, and that kind of goes, oh, I don't really want to pay, so I will just get a Metal NatWest bank account. So I haven't had that situation, but I completely sympathise with you in the sense of you've got a mass of these clients that needed to go on software. You've picked something, and
Well,
now it's kind of been a month to go.
They're
and
already
it's
on it.
taken. Are they using it or themselves?
Yeah, they're already on it. They
okay, fine.
I was telling my clients that, 3 months up until the start, let's get using this now. Let's pretend that our first quarter's the end of April, right? Let's have that pretend.
You were really ahead of the game.
Yeah. But you have to be, right? You have to. We have to teach these clients and discipline these clients into how we want them to work for it to work in our systems, right? So I was already invested. I was already ready to go. Now that obviously
and now they've
taken away
pulled the
from
rug
me.
out. And that's so unfair, isn't it? It's so frustrating.
But I think the biggest frustration is there's no alternative. That was the only software provider went, let's build a whole new MTD capable solution that is super simple. Now, in fairness, maybe Sage is the answer. Maybe I'm doing a disjustice there because Sage was didn't fit into my tree, right? So I was like,
Sage have got a good solution as well. I've got a couple on Sage. So I haven't used Sage individual. They're on the main, the standard, whatever, the standard license. And that works really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm my own worst enemy on this, right? Because I was the one who was shouting from the rooftops on this very, very podcast, this MTD podcast. Remember when we were in Brewdog and I was saying how I'm disappointed with Xero, they've not built a product for MTD? That's exactly what's happened now. That MTD-focused product, which MTD being such a big shift, my expectation was we were going to get these MTD-focused products, right? These simplistic, these straightforward, these simple ones. And maybe we've got to look further afar. Maybe it's not your QuickBooks and your things. Go for it, Amy.
I'm just disappointed for the industry in that we were encouraged. We've been talking about this, feels like forever. I'm here today and people are talking about MTD and what software to use. And I'm thinking, it's a bit late to be thinking about it now. Are there?
We've been talking about it for 5
there are
years.
going to be accountants and bookkeepers out there that have not thought about it. But it's kind of been, you come to these events, it's been hammered into us for a year and a half now,
at least.
And
longer.
Coming here, I'm like, well, I don't really need to see the MTD talks. I know sorry, FAB, but it will be the same at Accountex. Some people will be talking about MTD as well, and we'll be like, it's a bit late. But actually, so we're getting, those that started early, I feel like we're being penalised.
Yeah.
And what impression is that giving to the rest of the industry? This has already been delayed, MTD.
And I think that's part of the problem. I think that's why so many people, including the softwares, sat back perhaps and didn't, because to be fair to them, they don't want to spend a load of time and money investing in a solution if it's going to get pushed back again or change or be withdrawn altogether.
It just feels such a shame that this is an example of you get in there, you get prepared, you do what you're supposed to do, and then it's kind of a little bit taken from underneath you.
Having
so
said that,
should we have waited?
Though.
Should we have left it to the last minute? It does make you think that.
But there's always a scale to this, right? Like for us, we had to get ahead of it because we not only need to train the client, we need to train the team.
Very true.
Like my team, I trained them multiple times now on what QuickBooks Sole Trader is, how we're going to use it, how we're going to build into it. Like all of that time's completely wasted now and gone. And now I'm scrambling to find something, not only to put in front of for clients, but also so I can put it in front of the team to train them. It's like the whole preparation thing's gone out the window.
I think, though, you're forgetting about the preparation we've done in getting clients ready. Even if you are going to have to change the software, you've formed those habits, hopefully.
True.
They're aware of that they're going to have to keep up to date. They're keeping their receipts and snapping them. They're getting into that process of updating things. They've got a business bank account. So that part was a big part of the battle, and you have nailed that part, whatever. Even if your actual software solution may now change, that bit will be fine.
Yeah.
It does, as a bigger picture, aside from MTD, it does make me think, I don't really want to put all my eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
I really want to, I didn't want to have to train clients and bookkeepers on different softwares.
No.
I quite like the idea of everything being in the same ecosystem, but you're so at risk then. So maybe
that's why I liked using different ones, because if it goes, if something happens, I haven't got all my eggs in one basket.
Yeah. The only caveat to that is, and it's a great segue to our next bit, is final declaration.
Yeah, that bit is.
HMRC have dragged their feet, and look, honestly, I'm glad we've had these delays. I'm glad we're in a position. I don't feel nervous about MTD compared to what, look at Company's House. Look at what it could have been, right?
Yeah.
We are way better than ACSP and all that sort of stuff, right? So I feel like HMRC's done a good job. I feel like we're there. My only criticism is that because they're dragging their feet on the final declaration and what APIs and everything else, or this is what the vendors are telling me anyway,
Okay.
because of that, we haven't seen those final declaration. And at this point, that's almost more important.
Yeah.
Like the quarterly submissions, they're quarterly submissions in the nicest possible way. You're pressing a button, it's going to go.
Yeah.
The bit that we need to nail,
Yeah.
we need to
The
understand.
quarterly submissions as well, we haven't got so much riding on because
Yeah.
there's flexibility
Yeah.
in the accuracy.
Yeah.
When it's that final declaration, that is the equivalent to tax return. That is that's going to
100%.
determine what they've got to pay HMRC.
Yeah.
There's a lot riding on that. It has to be
and
right.
I get your point about not having all eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
I fully get that. And I know you're going to counter with, oh, just use TaxCal, right? And we'll talk about it in a minute.
It's like you read my
But
mind.
if you don't go down that route and you are using all these multiple
Yeah.
solutions, then holistically training your team how to use all the final declaration software, figuring out how to get the data your client send in and get it there, talking to your client about what these numbers mean in different formats and everything
Yeah.
else, that bit, that's the bit that scares
I
me.
know.
And we're 20 days from the pot, and the softwares aren't telling us that bit because, again, they're telling us that these APIs aren't ready and they're not connecting, all this sort of stuff. That's the bit we need clarity on now. That's the bit, because your whole point, you're right, like eggs in one basket or not eggs in one basket,
Yeah.
that's all going to be decided by how easy or not easy that final declaration. If the situation like we have with QuickBooks now and filing a set of limited company accounts, and one of the software companies are at that state where it's almost unusable for most situations. If we're in that situation and that software A, software B, whichever software it's going to be, and their final declaration just keels over each time, well, we're at fault for recommending that to the client. We're at fault for recommending that for everything else. So I feel like we're missing a really big part of the pie at the moment.
We will be able to use other softwares for example, if you're doing Xero for the quarterly filings and the end of year final declaration falls over, you could export it into TaxCalc or into Sage as well.
Yeah.
So
There's ways around,
there are ways around, but it will be stressful.
But also counter to that is when I was talking about MTD, I think it's like 2 years ago now, and I did this piece and it went on ICAW and everything else. HMRC came back at me, criticising me, saying, what are you on about? Because I was talking about that whole thing.
I remember that.
My world was, I'm going to keep, like you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Everything in one solution, go through from there. HMRC said, well, that's not what MTD's been built for. MTD's been built that you do end-to-end in that. Now, that's HMRC telling us that that's what their intention
Ideal
is.
world.
Yeah. But if that's their intention, then it's tricky, isn't it? Because they're almost going to, I'd imagine they want to put guardrails up to stop people from putting that in there. But what's your experience?
I'm thinking about my clients that are doing their own quarterly submissions now when you're talking about that. And then when it comes to end of year, I would like to keep all my tax returns within TaxCalc because I'm doing them.
100%.
I need them to be in there. And I don't want, I'm not putting my eggs all in one basket, but I'm keeping it small. I'm keeping it small. I'm keeping it to QuickBooks, Free Agent, Excel. That's what I'm keeping to.
Yeah.
So at least, because I need to be able to step in should something go wrong.
Yeah.
Can't learn them all. I don't,
No.
not
And you've
all
got
of them anyway.
You're
It's not
non-MTD
possible.
clients as well. So you want them to be a similar
and
product,
I don't
right?
want it to be a case of, I'm a small business. I am relying on one person to help me with tax returns. As well, she needs to know how, this person's doing it here, this person, and we're going to have a mix that's going to get confusing. If we give clients the whole ability to do everything and pick what they want, it's not going to work.
No,
it's not going to work. But I'm just thinking when it comes to like the final declaration, which is the step before the tax return.
No,
that is the
final
tax
declaration is
return.
the tax return now.
There's no end of period statement.
thinking
The
of quarter four.
end of
I'm
period
thinking of-
statement.
yeah.
There's not that anymore. The crystallisation thing.
It's basically just going to do quarter four
quarterlies
again.
and then the final
The mixed
declaration.
messages are coming in my head.
The final declaration, which
Okay.
brings in all the other income streams and bank interest and whatever else. That's
Oh
the
God!
tax return bit.
Yeah.
So
I'm
final
getting it.
declaration is the new SA
They
100.
can submit their tax returns through Free Agent, and I don't necessarily want them to do that. They are paying me to do it.
Apparently
but
there's
will
a feature to
You
turn
can
it on
turn
and
it
off,
off.
though,
Yeah,
isn't
you
But
can hide it and turn it
will
off.
they want me to do it within Free Agent? That is going to be the thing.
I said this tonight, like that I've had clients who have criticised me for not filing their accounts, and but they've filed on Companies House, everything's done, they've signed it, I've submitted it, because I didn't do free agent, they're like, yeah, but it's not showing a free agent has done.
Well,
and I get that idea, like that ecosystem.
I had this yesterday when we were talking about new clients, how we're going to know. And my admin was saying, she was like, well, all I've got to do is go onto our agent account and get a copy of their tax return. I'm like, no, you won't be able to see it unless they've submitted it through there. So we're going to have that kind of, what if they want you to use it? Then you've got to learn how to use it, submit that way. So I think we have to have our boundaries and say, cool, you crack on and do quarterly submissions. If you want me to do your tax return still, we do it outside of your software. Or if, some people some accountants might be happy to do it within there.
I don't think this is even going to be on my client's radar.
I think we need to make it clear in our engagement letter. Yeah. I've just done my MTD income tax engagement letters because the ACCA were quite early in giving out a template and loads of options. It took me ages to go through and filter through it. I don't think I've actually said I will be using this software to do your final submission.
This isn't going to be on my client's radar to even. They just want to know that I'm doing their tax return. They are not going to know how, where, anything like that.
Should we be? You've got a point. Should we be saying we are not using your software to do this submission?
Final declaration.
In our engagement letters.
Yeah.
I don't think. I will check and I will come back and report on LinkedIn about it. But I don't think my engagement letter for MTD says where I'm doing it. And I think it should be clear because clients will assume that you're submitting it through Sage, Xero.
I don't think my clients are even going to be aware that there's an option.
Yeah.
Or I think they will just They'll be happy. They'll just be happy that it's submitted and they've got their copy.
I think newer clients, especially though, won't they? Because they've never known anything different. This idea that wait a minute, all the way through the quarter, you're asking me to maybe you don't ask them, but I'd assume I think us three would ask them to sign it, right?
Yeah,
we're signing this QuickBooks branded or this free agent branded or whatever branded, and then suddenly there's this tax calc branded or whatever solution you're using, and they're like, well, wait a minute. But the software's not telling me it's submitted now, and you've always told me it was submitted, now it's not. I can feel...
You can mark it as filed as well.
This is what I was going to ask. You're going to have green, 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 red.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do something in their software to be like, cool, I've submitted it outside.
Yeah, you can do. I know, for example, with free agent, you can mark it as filed. Like with Xero, if you're filing VAT through a VAT group, you can mark it as filed. I imagine it's going to be the same for all of them because.
But then, just to counter that, then that's another step in your process you've got to build in.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
charge another £5.
Yeah. and I keep going back to there's not enough meat on the bone for all of this extra element of it. I just hoped by now the conversation had moved on from the quarterly submissions and everything else. My hope was at this point, we see those final declarations, we get comfortable with them, we play with them, we understand them to make that decision. And then, because I generally think with some of them, we're going to be in a position where we go, oh, you know what? The quarterly submission or the extraction of the data is not great there, but actually that final declaration is brilliant. That's the one I'm going to go with going forward. And I also think as well, like, we're in a position where we've got to make these decisions now. We've got to understand, like, what's going on. We're going to come a point where we're going to be like, to a certain client, you know what? I think you're better off being on MTD. You don't quite hit it now. I think we bring you in early because when we see these final declarations, in theory, and this is just by listening on the grapevine, in theory, it's going to be bringing in your bank details and bank interest easier. It's going to be bringing in your
employment
income
and
You know what I mean? We may be in a position where for a client, we're better off MTD in them. Do you know what I mean? Early.
True.
Do you know what I mean?
If that system works, how it's meant to, how we're being told it's going to, that will be really helpful.
And they're going to be better off in MTD
all those things
early.
Like the pension, where you're waiting for them to give you their pension statement and blah, blah. If it's already there and you can draw it down, that would be brilliant. Yeah. So it may be worth signing up.
And that's what I think. But we can't make those decisions. We can't evaluate those at this moment.
We're in this transition period at the moment, and it's unsettling, isn't it? Because we like to be in control. We like to know.
But our clients are paying for us to be in control. That's what it comes down to, right?
I'm thinking about all the discovery calls I've had lately. I'm saying all, it's probably not as many as you think. But they're all you're having the sole trader limited companies like conversation, and then you're trying to gauge what kind of income level they are, and you're trying to guess kind of when they're going to fall in. would it be easier to just put people in?
Yeah.
Like from the start?
Well, I'm certainly working on the basis that I'm treating them as if they are in terms of they need a separate business bank account and they need to be on software. If I'm doing the bookkeeping, which I tend to be doing with my clients because I am a bookkeeper, then I want them on minimum quarterly bookkeeping, even for the really tiny ones who are not going to be brought into them to do for the next couple of years or whatever. We're starting as we mean to go on.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because then you haven't got to then transition them.
But I feel that the fun begins for me now, and probably a lot of accountants that are looking at it, because it's like, right, okay, I've got those people in. I'm starting April, right? Now the fun stuff begins for the April 27 cohort.
August the 7th, isn't it? That's our first big
one. Yeah.
deadline.
And that's when I think we're going to suddenly get a load more of inquiries of all those people who are unrepresented at the moment and thought, oh, I'll be all right, I'll do this myself.
Yeah.
And then they're going to realise, I don't know what I'm doing.
Are you going away in July? I don't think we're going away in July.
We're not going away at all next year.
But like we haven't onboarded enough clients to really understand if someone turns up on the 6th of August, are we actually going to be able to deliver that? Like the 64-8 process and testing all that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's not. It won't be.
It won't be.
It's like VAT, right?
Yeah.
Like we can't just turn it around on a dime and get it done. And I think that's what we've got to figure out, because we need to figure out, and especially like telling our team, like a cut-off point is the 16th of July or whatever it's going to be, right?
To guarantee the filing is on time.
Exactly.
You can still take them on, and they have to be aware that they're so late, that filing deadline is not going to be met for that first
quarter. But we need to know that data, right?
Yeah,
and it's going to be different for everyone, because we all have our own systems, we all have our own things and everything else. And how long does it take to move someone for a thing? And another question that I got asked the other day is if they're already a 64-8 in our other platform, in our non-agent services account, once we move them over, will they just go over nicely, or is there going to be a bit?
It's meant to be automatic.
It's meant
once
to be,
you've
isn't it?
connected the two agent accounts.
But is that instant, or is that because you've got to opt the client into MTD, right? So is that instantly? Then do we have these are the bits that we want to play with?
We don't know, do we? Yeah.
And I know the beta's been around.
Here, but I thought they had to have their income. Sorry, they needed to be on our agent services account first.
Yeah, but we have to opt them in. So they're not in our agent services account now. We opt them into MTD, they move over.
And then that moves them over.
Yeah.
So I just assumed the 64-8 process in the old wouldn't.
Oh, that should come with us. If they're in the old... I don't know if you remember the VAT days, but that's exactly how the VAT days do.
Yeah, but that kind of coincided with us getting the agent services account in the first place, wasn't it? That everyone kind of migrated over. So I was under the assumption that I had to go through here is the link for you to click on.
No, well, during the beta testing, I was able to bring it over. But
fabulous.
The thing you'll find with the beta testing, though, I was picking the best clients. The ones I had every... I was one of the beta testers, me personally, right? Like, so I could kick the tires, I could figure out and everything else. What we're about to learn is the actual problems, the actual issues, and the actual things. And I think
it's going to be fun.
I was so prepared, and this news that's happened where suddenly I'm going.
I feel like you're not by anyone in particular, but the powers that be, whoever they be. You're being penalised for being so organised, and that's just sad for the industry, to be honest.
The way the cookie crumbles. Any final parts from you, Suzannah? Any tips or things you would recommend people, maybe in the similar sort of process?
I think you've just got to keep communicating with your clients. Just keep telling. I'm not telling mine about the soft landing. I'm not telling them it doesn't have to be exact. I want them to be organised. I want everything on time. I've put a little thing in my engagement letter as well, a little clause to say if records are consistently late beyond a certain cut-off point, I'm not going to guarantee to file on time, and there may be an uplift in fees for late filing and stuff like that, or for people who are late to the deadline, too close to the deadline. So things like that. I'm trying to do it more as a carrot to encourage good behaviour. I don't really want to have to enforce that, because that means there's bad behaviour. I want good behaviour from clients.
I love that. Love that. Amy?
I think what today has shown, don't put your eggs in one basket. You've got different people. They're going to want to do different things. If you don't want to be adaptable, that's fine. You know, you don't have to follow what everyone else is doing. You don't have to follow what anyone's doing. But if you want to service those clients, let them be involved in the decision. And, yeah, don't be scared. We'll be fine. We'll be absolutely fine. Until next year. We'll be when there's more people. But it'll be fine for now.
It will be fine. From you two, thank you so much for giving up your time, coming along here, talking MTD. I've got a feeling we won't be, you won't get rid of us that easily. I mean, I think maybe we need to have let's go through how that first quarter went.
Yeah.
Let's have some talks about it. Let's pull back those issues we're all doubtly going to have, right, and go through from there.
It might be after hours.
Yeah. Let's make sure it is after hours. But thank you so much for coming along. Fingers crossed you guys are going to smack. Of course you are. You're the we've got MTD Queen over here. And then basically, as long as you're on speed dial, everyone's going to be all right. Yeah, just keep your phone clear.
Just ring Suzannah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for coming along. And if you want more content like this, you're already in the right place. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. Make sure you find Amy at
#AuditAmy on LinkedIn.
Make sure you find Suzannah at
Suzannah Whelan on LinkedIn and on Facebook, Sinclair Whelan Bookkeeping.
I love that. My name is Aaron Patrick. It's been an absolute pleasure to host this, and we will see you in the next one. Bye for now.